Hey folks, welcome to my channel. My name's Damon. My nickname's Dag, thus why I call it Dag the Aviator. So I wanted to do a real quick video, folks. I'm not going to dive too deep into the subject, but about a month ago I had a young man reach out to me and ask me how I've dealt with trolls and bullies and mean people. And this kid does a lot of 3D printing of some really neat aircraft, and he's super brilliant. Super neat kid. And when I say kid, 20 years old, should be a young man, because I'm 62. But I want to share some insight that I shared with him because he said, you know, you should make a YouTube video about this. So folks, when it comes to bullying and trolls, anytime you're a maker or an inventor or a designer, anytime that you are going to try to do something that other people aren't doing, you're probably going to get some people that are naysayers, people that are negative. And I just want to give you perspective the way I look at this, okay? So when I was 6 years old in 1969, I had open heart surgery called pulmonary stenosis. And my heart valve was deformed at birth. It's probably because my mom smoked during my entire pregnancy. But we don't know that, right? But the thing is that the valve wouldn't operate right. And as my body grew, enough blood flow wasn't coming through there. So they had to go in there and do open heart surgery. And what I ended up with was a very healthy heart. I was a very healthy young kid. But I had this huge Frankenstein scar all the way down my chest. And my close friends kind of thought it was cool. But anybody else would see the scar made fun of me. They called me Frankenstein. And when I think back on it, folks, it never really bothered me that much. It made me realize there's good people and bad people. Okay? And I don't judge. I try not to judge, folks, because I haven't walked in everybody's shoes. I don't know what makes a person mean like that. I tend to think everybody's good inside unless you're like a pedophile or a murderer or something like that. But when I think about my interaction with trolls, I normally just start laughing and cracking up thinking, uh-oh, why are you here? You know, why are you wasting your time? Why are you taking your time to come into my world and create, havoc, create chaos? You know, folks, this planet is so full of rage right now. Everybody's so angry. And a couple of things that I do with my social media is I never allow on my Facebook or my YouTube any discussion about religion or politics. It's just too volatile. But anytime you put yourself out there to try to share with people what you do, I have over 500 videos. I've been doing it 18, 19 years. I don't have 1 million followers. I have like 10,000 followers. That was never my intent, was to grow a channel to make it all about growing the channel. I just wanted to share my love for aviation. And if you're one of my returning followers, you know that I'm obsessed with aviation. You know what I do for a living is I work in the entertainment/theater industry. In 1981, I started working in theater, spent 8 years basically being a technical director and a lighting designer and a master electrician and all those neat things. But theater people were just like the marching band people when I was in high school. People would make fun of, oh, you're in the theater industry? And I mean, like, I'm not an actor. You know, 1 in 10 million actors can make a living, but technicians, we can make a shitload of money in this industry, okay? So I've been in this industry 44 years, and I've always tried to share with people. I've always tried to leave everything better than I found it. I've always tried to, especially in my model aviation and my full-scale aviation, I've always tried to help others. As I reflect back on my 500 videos, every one of those was trying to share things I've learned or things that I've failed at. You know, folks, we learn by failing. If you don't know what failing forward fast means, Google it and look at it, because if you're ever part of product development or anything like that, you're going to realize that if you want to do like rapid prototyping and all that kind of stuff, it's really killer. It's a great way to get things done in a very short amount of time while learning what you're developing. Right now in the theater industry, I work with developing automation, the stuff that makes scenery go up and down and moves things through the air. That's pretty much what I do now. Crazy thing is, folks, people that have a lot of drive, that really have what I call that piss and vinegar in the veins, the people that don't give up, are the ones who find those trolls. Those trolls come to us, those naysayers, the haters. I'm extremely dyslexic, and I've had people make fun of me my entire life about it. Because, folks, I was considered learning disabled when I was in elementary school and early middle school. It wasn't until a couple of teachers started realizing that it's not that I was slow, like had a mental challenge. It's just I wasn't interpreting anything I read. And back then, dyslexia wasn't really a thing. I'm a high school dropout. Went back, got my GED, and then I went back 2 years later and got my last 2 credits. So I could say that technically I have a diploma. But I dropped out of school in '81 because I didn't have the credits. I had D's and F's, and everybody thought I was lazy, or they thought I was learning challenged. The reason I'm sharing this, folks, is because the only thing that counts is you. The only thing that matters is you and your circle of friends. When you've got trolls and naysayers and these haters and bullies and all these people, they win by bringing you down. So I want to tell you a couple of things I do when a troll enters the chat, okay? Normally you've done something to trigger them. Normally you've called them out and made them look silly or made them appear wrong. I've had trolls my whole life in social media. And the first thing I do is I ignore them. I don't fuel them. Some people say you should block them. I think blocking them empowers them. They think, oh, okay, I got to this person. They're mad at me, so they blocked me. What I like to do is just delete every one of their posts as soon as they pop up. I don't even read them. If I see that troll pop up, they could be apologizing. I wouldn't know. I just erase it. But that's just me. But the most important thing for you to do is not to fuel a troll. If you fuel them at all. I want to tell you how my latest troll popped up. I love ChatGPT. Now, before you cringe and you freak out, you need to understand how designers like myself use ChatGPT. Just like my pharmacist friends, my aerospace friends, it's a resource tool. I'm sure you've used Excel, you use PowerPoint, you use Word. I use AutoCAD, Inventor, Fusion 360. They're all tools. ChatGPT is basically like having the greatest librarian on call 24 hours a day that learns how I'm asking questions. So if I ask a question about a theater product or a type of aluminum, normally I'd have to go in and look in a book. With ChatGPT, I'm like, tell me all the different strengths and grades of aluminum, or 4130 chromoly steel, and all these different things, and it's basically instantly there. So that's where it's a huge tool. So I posted on my Facebook how much I love ChatGPT, and this person lost his complete shit, just went ape shit. It was like, oh, it's ruining kids, it's, colleges, the world's doomed. And I said, dude, you're wrong. Learn something about it. Go out and investigate it before you post this stuff. Well, that was it. The game was on. He lost his mind. I don't know if he wasn't breastfed or what as a kid, but something happened where if you ever said no to this person or you're wrong, he lost his mind. So he starts calling me names, a loser, saying that I've never accomplished anything in my life, calls me cupcake. Something I learned a long time ago, I think this is in 6th grade. When people call you names, it shows they're immature. When people call you names, it's because they can't actually have the conversation with you. They don't know how to communicate when people call you names. So if you're a maker, an inventor, a designer, somebody who's into ideation or whatever you're doing, and you're trying to help people and you're putting yourself out there, you're going to get trolls. You're going to get those bullies. But the way I deal with it is totally ignore them. Okay? Just ignore them. Because if you respond and say, hey, no, I'm right here, or I know this, you're fueling them. They're going to keep going. I had a troll on a website called RC Groups. And folks, a long time ago, well, I shouldn't say a long time ago, I've done some crazy things with large-scale radio control airplanes. Okay, I'm talking about things with 16, 17, 18-foot wingspans. I've had robotic babies flying. I've had robotic skydiving babies. Okay, I like to make people kind of laugh while also always pushing the hobby. Now, I can't do that in the entertainment industry. I can't do those crazy, funny things, but I can with model aviation. And believe it or not, even in the theater industry, I get trolls. People are like, oh, that won't work. Well, we don't know until we try. Keep in mind, folks, if you aim for perfection, and I think it was Steve Jobs or somebody said this, if you aim for perfection, even if you don't get it, you're still going to fail above most of the other people. You're still going to learn more. You're going to have more success. And when I look at my model aviation, it's kind of my vehicle to do kind of crazy things. I come from a time where Monty Python was exciting. We watched Thunderbirds or Go. I know I sound like an old boomer. I am. But I love technology. I love embracing and engaging anybody who wants to learn. Okay? I absolutely loved like Blazing Saddles and Animal House and all of those movies, and Blues Brothers. But my 23-year-old daughter has me connected to all her stuff. So the thing is, folks, no matter how old you are, how young you are, I look at my daughter who got bullied a lot in school. Well, she's 23 right now in her second year getting her PhD. She skipped her master's degree. She knew what she wanted to do for a living. Her professors believed in her, and she skipped her master's. She's in her second year of her PhD. I taught her, every time you have a troll or a naysayer, ignore them. The only thing that counts is you and your inner circle of friends. When I had that heart surgery in '69, there were some really mean kids. But all that made me realize is they're mean. I didn't let it really hurt me that much. I mean, sure, it hurts when somebody says, hey, freak, hey, Frankenstein, hey, this, hey, that, whatever. I was the president of the Rocket Club in high school. That's how much of a geek I was, okay? I flew model airplanes as a kid, you know, and then got into full scale later in life. Ultralights, you name it. I love to fly anything. But here's the thing. Anytime somebody sees somebody successful and really having fun and helping others, you're always going to have those one or two people that are like, well, that can't be real. This is fake. They're stupid or they're dumb. The moment somebody calls you a name, they have just totally shown to you that they've disqualified themselves from even entering the conversation when they call you a name. Okay? Unless it's your friend, you're drunk or high or whatever, and you're all laughing and you know you're at a pub or whatever. Completely different story. But if a troll's calling you names, it's because they're insecure. They've probably been hurt. I think as Ted Lasso says, that hurt people hurt people. So folks, the best advice I could ever give anybody about a troll is disengage. You can never take it personal. This young 20-year-old man I was talking to, young kid, he does some unbelievable stuff. I'm talking Einstein-level IQ stuff. But he was really letting everybody get under his skin saying, well, that won't work and that won't work. Folks, I remember 15 years ago, I designed a model airplane with a 197-inch wing. Everybody said it wouldn't fly, except my friends. They're like, try it. See if it'll fly. If it doesn't, you learn something. I had people saying, oh, I've worked with NASA and I've worked with these people and it won't fly. 68 watts per pound, you know, wattage is power, and I'm not going to get too geeky on you, but 68 watts per pound with all of my math said that thing's going to freaking fly, and it's going to fly great. It's going to fly very scale. It's going to fly slow, like a very early 1900s airplane. And it did. It flew perfect. I got over 1,350 flights in a plane that everybody except my inner circle said, oh, it won't work. Folks, part of the excitement of ideation and creation and invention and design is trying to do something that everybody else hasn't done. With 3D printing, it's changed my whole world with new product development and how fast we can prototype stuff. In my own house, I have my own lab in the basement where I've got my TIG welder and my saws and my 3D printers and my mill and lathes. I got all this stuff. I can basically prototype anything I want in my basement. And I've had people bully me over that. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. I don't care what they think I can't do. I know what I'm going to try. I'll either fail or I'll succeed. But at least I learned something. Okay? So if you're one of my followers and you've ever been stressed out by trolls, just don't engage them. If you're new to my channel, check out some of my crazy videos. At the end of this, I'll put my skydiving baby on, okay? But here's the thing. If you let them get to you, they are winning. You know, this latest troll I had on Facebook, me and my friends were chatting and we were laughing our asses off at how much this guy was trying to get to me. And you know the cool thing about that is, he'll never get to me, but at least he's not trolling somebody else. When he's trolling me, hey, whatever, I'm just going to erase every one of your posts, dude. You can just get as mad as you want. You're irrelevant. You're not even welcome to the chat when you call people names. And folks, it was probably, gosh, 15 years ago-ish, or no, probably about 18 years ago, on RC Groups. It's this group of model aviators, and back then it was somewhat regulated. You know, the way that people monitored it. Today I think it's a lot better, but back then you'd have trolls get in there, and I met a troll who honestly told me, I know nothing about model aviation. I know nothing about airplanes. I joined this just to start fights. I love to create tension. And I just thought, what a great way to waste your time. I mean, if you want to waste your time, you know, I mean, folks, I wish there was 8 days to the week. Because folks, and another thing is, I wouldn't be 44 years in the theater industry if I didn't love what I do. And when you really love what you do, it leaves all kinds of room for all the other hobbies and families and everything else you do because you're not that stressed out. Okay? So that's it, folks. I don't want this to be a big, long video, and I don't want to preach to you. I just want to tell you, if people bully you for any reason at all, there's something wrong with them. Okay? It's not you. Okay, I remember seeing a picture on Facebook of this young lady. She's probably 20, 25. Did the most unbelievable chalk drawing on the side of a building, a brick building, and she stood in front of it like some kind of wild angel, okay? I thought it was the most artistic thing in the world. And when I read some of the comments, I was like, what the hell is wrong with the world? This girl spent so much time on that thing. And to me, it was absolutely beautiful. Why would anybody ever want to put something negative toward that? It's because there are mean people and good people. It's that simple. It really is. There's hardly no in between. So if you're a person deep into ideation, if you're a designer, an inventor, a creator of anything, and you share what you're doing out there, you are going to get trolls and bullies. Just don't feed them. Don't acknowledge them, and definitely don't let it get to you. Because this young man, folks, was really, he let them get into his head. And when he started showing me all of his designs, I was so blown away with how creative and how smart he is. And I know he's watching this, and I hope he understands I've basically given the same talk to you all that I did to him. But folks, what's really cool about living is being unique, being different. All theater people I know, we joke, we come from that island of misfits because most people don't understand us theater people. We learn how to work 60 hours a week because no matter what, that curtain's got to go up. Now imagine in a business environment where we work 60 hours a week. That's when you can make a shitload of money. So the theater people are misunderstood. I'm not talking about actors. Got a lot of good friends that are actors. I don't want to put them down. But on the tech side, the production side, the development side of the theater and entertainment industry, folks, it's endless what you can do. And that's the reason I live there. It's so cool. So look, if people are trying to bring you down, it's on them. If people are calling you names, it's on them. Okay? If they're calling you names, it's on them. If they call you names and put you down and try to degrade you, don't feed them. Just ignore them. Okay? So that's it, folks. Now, look, this was not a scripted little thing I want to do. I just want to get on here and explain to you how I deal with these. And I don't want to call them names. I'm not going to call them idiots or dumbasses or any of that stuff. I don't know them. I haven't walked in their shoes. But there's mean people and there's nice people. And if they're being a troll and being a bully, they're mean. End of story. Don't let it affect you. So, hey, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, folks. I love to do videos like this once in a while, like once every 50, where I actually talk about things that make people love what they do, have passion for what they do. One day I'm going to talk about the 6 types of working genius. If you don't know that, read the book or listen. I'm extremely dyslexic. I can't hardly read, so I listen to Audible. This will prove to you what kind of job you should have, that you'll love your job and you'll go to work every day loving it. Every day loving it. 6 types of working genius. Read the book. There is an assessment that you can pay a little bit of money to take, and it will tell you what your working geniuses are. And as long as you do for a living what your 2 core working geniuses are, you'll love your job. Okay? Rock on, everybody. Thanks for watching my videos. Again, please like and subscribe and share, and I'll talk to you next time.